Well, this complicates things. Here I was hoping the trouble would start and end with you two. But no matter. This will all make for a very engaging story.
I wouldn't be so flippant. This time, it's one of yours causing trouble. I'm starting to wonder if all those agents we captured were just a distraction, so the real culprit could make their move.
It's all still up in the air right now. What can you three tell us about Ashvapati?
Uncle Ashvapati isn't our real uncle, but he is our guardian. He adopted us when we were little. He told us we all came from the same band of eremites in the desert, but apparently, we're the only ones left. We've been traveling from place to place with him for as long as I can remember. We got to Nagcry not too long ago.
Their eyes.
What about them?
I'm just reminded of something. About a decade ago, there was a band of eremites who, seemingly out of nowhere, gained technological capabilities far surpassing those of other groups. Leveraging that advantage, they built a number of highly advanced weapons and sold them to the highest bidder. The conflicts in the desert became even bloodier as a result. While the other groups were tearing each other to shreds, these newly minted arms traders stood by and reaped the spoils. But before long, their own weapons were turned against them. And as the flames of conflict engulfed the desert, the group met their end. None of the weapons survived, and so in the wake of that destruction, the status quo of the desert was restored.
That's terrible.
In the desert, it's kill or be killed. People will stop at nothing to gain the upper hand. If this happened in Fontaine or Liyue, I'm sure the perpetrators would have been prosecuted to the full extent of the law. But in the desert, no one bats an eye. From what they've told us, sounds like these kids are orphans from that particular band of eremites.
Which means their guardian is likely one of the few survivors as well.
Sounds like it.
No! Uncle Ashvapati would never do something like that! No matter what happened back then, I know one thing for sure. Uncle Ashvapati hates weapons. Sure, he's good at building things, but all he does is make toys for us to play with. He can't be the kind of person you're making him out to be. Or...
I'm sorry. All we can do is act upon the facts.
So, what's our next move?
From our interrogations, we've learned that in 2 days, the person behind all this has a meeting planned to collect the goods. If all goes well, we can head to the pickup point and ambush them. But if Ashvapati is part of this and the leader learns what happened, there's no chance he risks himself for his agents. So, that meeting might as well be moot.
Then let's focus our efforts on Ashvapati for now. If we find him, he might just lead us to our culprit. If he stole the prototypes, there's bound to be a trail. I'm confident I can track him down. I just need some time.
What can I do to help?
I work best in the shadows. The more people involved, the harder it is to operate. As soon as I've got a location, though, he's all yours. You let me handle the search, and I'll let the special patrol handle the seizure.
That does sound like the most feasible plan. I'll be waiting for the good news.
Seizure?
Hey, don't worry too much right now. The most important thing is that we find your uncle. The rest can wait.
Okay.
Looks like I'll need to enlist your services for a bit longer, traveler.
from Yelan. It looks like she managed to track down Ashpapati. Come on! Let's go meet up with the others!
Took me a bit longer than I expected, but I found where he's hiding.
Let me just be sure of one thing. We're dealing with someone who has extremely dangerous weaponry in his hands. If it comes to it, are you prepared to handle the worst-case scenario?
Absolutely. You just need to trust us, just like we trusted you earlier.
Yeah, we've got this. My crew's already locked and loaded.
I'll take you at your word.
I know you said you wanted to keep this operation small, but I still thought you could use some backup. So, I chose a few promising young Spina members to help out. Clarand and I have got things covered at the expo.
Yes, we're ready to roll then!
Now that you're here, I guess we can get this show on the road.
Wait!
I'm sorry, you can't come with us. You need to stay at the expo like we agreed. It's for your own safety.
We know. It's just... Do you really think Uncle Ashvapati is working for the bad guys?
I wish I could answer that question, but it would just be speculation. And I work based off evidence.
He's been gone for 2 days now, and he just left us here. He's never done that before. Maybe he really is working for those people and was afraid of getting caught. But if that's true, then that means he must have been involved in making and selling weapons in the past too. Wouldn't that make him a bad person?
That's not for us to say. Take a look around the expo. There are plenty of other people making and selling weapons. Doesn't mean they're necessarily all bad people.
Really?
The same is true for your uncle. Whatever he may have done in the past, the real question we need to ask is why. There's a lot we need to know before we can judge a person. In Fontaine, we have a long and complicated process in place just to make sure we get the right answer to that question.
Yeah. Why would Uncle Ashvapati do something like that?
How about this? I'll make sure that Miss Chevras and Miss Yelan promise to bring your uncle back safe and sound. Then you can ask him yourselves.
Thanks, miss.
This situation is complicated and unpredictable. Isn't it a bit early to be making those kinds of promises? It's all right. We're prepared for whatever we might face.
Regardless, it's a promise we have to keep. After all, when the children get their answer, it will shape their understanding of what justice means.
Then, let's all do our part to make sure this ends as well as it possibly can.
Take me up! Stop right there!
Where is he?
We missed him.
Looks like he left behind plenty of evidence, though. Search the area. Let's see if we can find a lead. Search the area. Let's see if we can find a lead.
Strange. Did he lead us here on purpose?
Search the area.
Strange.
Wait! Is this what Paimon thinks it is?
It's the display model that goes with the prototype. Guess that does make him our thief.
What's worse is that, with his technical background, I bet he managed to bypass the security features on the prototype.
You're saying our guy has a battle-ready ballista in his possession, just waiting to be unleashed?
Oh, this isn't looking good.
Something isn't adding up. All the evidence suggests that he was here alone. Which begs the question, why would he unlock the ballista's features before even meeting up with his boss?
That's a question for another time. We need to focus on where he's going next. Search the area.
Strange.
There's a letter here.
Look at how it's positioned. It was begging to be found. I think it might be for us.
You think he knew we would come here?
If he did, he's a more impressive opponent than I anticipated.
Let's keep going. We can read it together when we debrief. These records look suspiciously familiar.
Yeah. Doesn't seem very coincidental to me either.
What is it?
Remember when I said this group's cover was ironclad? They were always careful never to leave a trail leading back to them. The one time they slipped up, it broke the case wide open. We found a cargo manifest left behind at the scene. That's the clue that led us to Nodcry.
It was a similar story on our end.
And now that same manifest shows up here, among the records left behind by Ashvapati.
So, he's the guy that slipped up back then?
Unless it wasn't a slip-up at all. How does the same clue get left behind at two separate scenes and picked up by two separate law enforcement agencies? Thinking back on it now, it doesn't seem quite so accidental after all.
No. Almost like he led us here on purpose. But for what reason?
This situation seems more complicated than we imagined. It looks like Ashvapati does have a connection to our criminal gang, but it might not be what we thought at first.
You don't think he's working for them?
Unlikely. He lured us to Nodcry, prepared those weapons on his own, deliberately put us on his trail. This is looking more and more like the work of an independent actor.
Well, if we want to get to the bottom of this, he's still our best lead. That would seem to be our last remaining clue. Let's do it.
To the officers of the Special Security and Surveillance Patrol and the Liyue Qixing, you certainly live up to your reputation. Within a single day, you were able to eliminate over half of the gang's forces. I appreciate the effort. I doubt my secret hiding spot will be a secret much longer. So I suppose it's my turn to throw my hat in the ring. I'm just glad I no longer have to run. So, before my day in court is upon me, allow me to confess to my crimes. It all started with a Kashara War researcher, expelled from the academia for violating a taboo. He had dedicated his life to the pursuit of knowledge. But when he found himself in the desert, it wasn't even worth a pail of water to quench his thirst. Could you spare some water? I'm a Kashara War researcher. If you need something, I could.
Researchers like you are a dime a dozen. Smart as a whip until you find yourself in the desert. Then, you're lucky to survive the night.
Are you mocking me?
No, son. Just still trying to figure out why I've got such a soft spot for strays like you. Here, give me your canteen. You got somewhere to go?
Not really. Thanks to this water, though. At least I can rule out the bottom of a vulture's stomach.
Now you're talking like desert folk. You could always join my band of misfits.
What would I do?
Gather food, guard our water source, just like everyone else I've taken in. Of course, if you have something you're good at, you're welcome to show it off. Every little bit helps.
All I know is weapons.
Weapons?
Yeah, I love studying them. Big and powerful ones, small and deadly ones, old ones, new ones. I believe the essence of Kashara War research is embodied in weaponry, and the pursuit of this kind of technology is what pushes the world forward. My lifelong goal has always been to become a foremost expert on all kinds of weapons, so I can invent even more advanced ones. So I might have borrowed a few sensitive techs without permission, but you see the vision, right? The higher-ups in the academia just didn't understand.
The academia could have 1,001 reasons for exiling you out here, and it still wouldn't matter to me, son. All I care about is what this specialty of yours can do for us.
I can help upgrade your weaponry. That should come in handy in a dangerous place like the desert, surely.
True, weapons are essential to life here in the desert. Most folks get them when merchants happen to pass through. But when it comes to protecting the people here, this scimitar in my hand is more than enough. The kind of weapons you're talking about are overkill for a place like this.
Overkill? Really?
Our group is lucky. Our ancestors learned how to protect the oasis from the sandstorms to prevent it from drying up. Plus, we're pretty far off the beaten path. Helps us avoid conflict with other bands of Eremites. All in all, we don't have to travel to find water, we don't have to fight off other desert folk. It's a real place to call home. There are plenty of ways to die in the desert, but behind a lot of them lies too much ambition. So, having somewhere to settle down is more than enough for me.
I see. Guess I could do some odd jobs then.
I've heard you Kashara scholars are handy with all kinds of gadgets. You could always make something for the kids.
You mean, like, toys?
Yes, if you wouldn't mind. It'll give them something to do. Life can get boring out here.
All right, then. And just like that, a Kashara War scholar at the cutting edge of his field ended up in the desert, making toys for children. It got boring from time to time, but all in all, those days were quite pleasant. The Eremites accepted me as one of their own, and all the children loved me. Looking back now, I wish I could have lived like that until the end of my days. But then, those despicable people showed up, and it changed everything. Don't rush me. These materials are in short supply.
Oh, they've got a lot of nerve showing their faces back here.
Send the gem? It has been a while.
Well, we have a right to this oasis too. Our ancestors were part of the group that discovered it.
You hated this place. After that giant sandstorm when everyone else was trying to figure out how to help, you got out of Dodge the first chance you could get.
Because I knew better than to be stubborn. Stay in one place too long around here, and it might just be your grave.
You abandoned this place. If we'd done the same, the oasis wouldn't even exist anymore. You gave up your right to be here a long time ago.
I heard they joined another band of Eremites after leaving us, but got kicked out. I bet they're only crawling back to us now because they've got nowhere else to go.
Chief, should we drive him off?
I'd like to see you try. I'm warning you. You won't get rid of us that easily.
Leave them be. This oasis has always been big enough to sustain more than one group of people. It's not worth spilling blood over. All that matters is keeping the people here safe.
At the time, I didn't think much of it. Just Chaim Wazet being the kind-hearted man he always had been. And so, normal life continued, much unchanged. Well, mostly. You can take the scholar out of the academia, but putting your life's work behind you is easier said than done. I often found myself flipping through my collection of blueprints and sketches. The ruin drakes scattered around Sumeru were of particular interest to me. As far as I knew, no one had been able to analyze or reproduce the technology within those mechanisms. But I was able to design a kind of lure to bait them into attacking a specific target, in effect, turning them into a weapon. Somehow, the new arrivals at the oasis must have caught wind of it, because they soon started taking an interest in me.
Hope you don't mind me asking, but is that a weapon you're researching?
I do mind, actually. It's none of your business.
Rumor is you used to be a researcher at the academia. All that knowledge going to waste out here in the sticks. What a shame.
What do you want?
I want to team up. The rules and red tape that got you kicked out of the academia, they don't exist in the desert. You could take this research to the next level. As things stand, all you've got is a blueprint and a pipe dream. But what if you had access to the right funds and materials?
What are you suggesting?
Me and my men can get you what you need. In return, all you gotta do is bring this sketch to life. We've always had a good eye for business, just never the right product. But this thing right here, the different bands of Eremites are gonna shell out Mora left and right to get their hands on it.
You want to sell it?
It's a win-win. You provide the goods, and I earn enough Mora from these people to fund the research of your dreams.
I don't know.
I understand what you're worried about, but listen, it won't come back to bite the people here. These people don't think bigger than this place. They don't get involved in conflict. I mean, come on. Their biggest enemy is the weather.
You've made a bad name for yourself around here. I don't want any part in this.
Well, it's your choice. But it could be the last meaningful choice you ever get in life. So I'll ask you again. Do you want to finally develop the weapons you've been dreaming of and realize your academic ambitions? Or do you want to stay here building toys for kids?
How I wish I'd made the right choice back then.
Yeah, we increased our prices. What about it? You gonna back out?
So, you're really as money hungry as they all say, huh?
Cash is king. That's just business.
Fine.
I'm done. I want out.
What are you talking about? We're making bank here.
I know what the weapons have been used for, and I refuse to be an accomplice to all this any longer.
An accomplice? Listen, that's got nothing to do with us. People would be at each other's throats with or without our weapons. So they die to a machine instead of a scimitar. What difference does it make?
Can't you sell more than just weapons? Surely this can't be all the Eremites are interested in buying.
If you want to make the big Mora, you gotta push what sells. That's just how it is.
And that right there is why I want out.
Fine. I've made more than enough to leave this dump in the dust anyway. If you want out so bad, have it your way.
What was that? No. Kaem was it? How did this happen?
You won't find a tribe in this desert without enemies. People have tried to steal water from this oasis in the past, but Kaem Wazet drove them off. Guess his enemies have been holding a grudge this whole time.
You sold weapons to his enemies. But he took you in when you had nowhere to turn. You owe him your life. Why would you do this?
It was the perfect excuse to drive up the price, that's why.
It was only later that I found out. This wasn't the first time Senejem and his men had turned around and stabbed their allies in the back. Let's just say, there was a good reason they had nowhere else to turn back then. I didn't chase after them or try to hold them accountable. In that moment, all I could think about was saving as many people as I could in a desperate attempt to atone for my sins. But once the weapons I designed were turned against us, the fate of this place was sealed. Even I could do nothing to prevent it. In the end, despite all the burning tents I rushed into, I was only able to save 3 children. And now, you know the full account of my crimes. I've been raising them ever since, while attempting to hunt down the men who made them orphans in the first place. This confession is for the kids to read, too. So, I hope you'll pass it along to them. They deserve to know the full truth of what happened. I know I'm in no position to make requests, but please, help them find loving parents to take them in. Above all else, they deserve a true family. Back then, I failed to see this through to the end. But I won't make that mistake again.
Jeez, if this is true...
He's after the same target as us. And he's out for revenge.
He even lured us to Notcry to help him get it.
I think I know what he's planning to do with those ballistas now. If I'm right, this doesn't bode well.
Then we need to find him ASAP! It sounds like he's about to do something super dangerous. But we promised the kids we'd bring him back safe.
I can't just let him get rid of our target either. This crime ring runs deep. There are still many other conspirators we need to track down. Oh?
You got something?
He knew we'd be out of the picture investigating this place. I think he decided to spring the trap that we set up.
Oh, snap. He's not working for them. So our original plan could have worked all along.
The meeting will be happening any time now. Quick, we need to head to the rendezvous point.